It's HPR, All Things Considered, member-supported Hawaii Public Radio, and I'm Dave Lawrence. Thank you so much for joining us. We're thrilled because over the last, I can't remember when this gentleman and I first spoke. It's Engelbert Humperdinck, who is doing his 2 nights this weekend, Saturday and Sunday at the Hawaii Theater. It was in the last couple of months, I guess, we did our first phoner, but I really, really appreciated it. You told some stories that a lot of people who were listening commented on, and it was really just one of those kind of memorable interviews, made quite an impression on people. Thank you so much for taking time to join us here in Honolulu.
Thank you. It's nice to be with you, especially for this special occasion. But I just hope that the storm keeps away, and I've been bending God's ear, and I'm sure that he's been listening to a lot of people.
I was talking to him earlier and said, "Do you know any women named Lane?" And he was like, "Lane is going to take a different lane this weekend." So we're really I'm seizing on your optimism that the storm is going to pass by. I'm also seizing on some Hawaii history of yours in between the last time that we spoke and now. Steve, the mystery emailer. I don't know this guy, but he emails me cool stuff that's going on in terms of like the history. Like if a guy like you comes to town, for instance, he'll send me over email that says, August 4th, 1970, Engelbert Humperdinck made his Hawaii debut at the Blaisdell Arena, backed by a 30-piece orchestra conducted by his conductor, Laurie Holloway. Engelbert wowed the audience, great performance, opening act, a group named the Burgundy Express. Do you remember that?
No, I Burgundy, but I can remember the fact that we did a great show and people loved what we did, and I'm happy to be back to redo something that might take it, make him write another email like that.
Right, ticket prices started at just $3 back then. Top ticket price was $10. Another one that you did, you performed another sold-out show at the Blaisdell Arena in the early '80s, presented by Tom Moffat. A few of your shows where he passed away. Any memories of it?
Wonderful man. You're a wonderful man.
Yeah, he was one of these cats who really was a fixture in the local community. You came back in '87, and perhaps this is a really critical one that ties you to your last record. You did this show at the Hawaii Ballroom, Sheraton Waikiki Hotel in December '87, and the very next night after the concert, there was a special fan celebration, a luau for Engelbert, they called it. It was the Diamond Head lawn of the Sheraton Waikiki Hotel. Is that the one where Bruno Mars got up on the table, or was that a different event?
No, that's a different occasion. Actually, what happened was my fan clubs from all over the world held a fan club party for me in Hawaii, in Honolulu. And the entertainment that night, believe it or not, was a young 5-year-old boy called Bruno Mars. And I said to him then, I said, Bruno, you're going to be a big star, young man. And he's not a big star, he's a mega star, you know. And now I just recorded one of his songs on my latest album.
What a thrill, though, to see that. When you look back at that video, can you even believe how full circle? And then you're recording his tune, and he's coming back, big hometown thing. It's just amazing, your connection to Bruno Mars. Now, does he know about, have you had any communication with him, both about your cover or about the special that you're taping?
Not yet, not as yet, no. Yeah, but I hope one day to meet him again.
Any chance he might show up at the, oh, that's right, I guess you did meet him. He was this big, wearing an Elvis costume. Any chance that he might show up at the thing?
I don't know, maybe.
That'd be a hell of a surprise. And one of the things, when you came to picking that tune, was it your idea? Did you hear it on the radio? Like, give a little insight, because you've covered people throughout your career. What made that tune appealing to you?
What, Release Me?
Just the Way You Are.
Oh, Just the Way You Are. Just the Way You Are. Yeah, when I heard it, well, I love his work anyway. But my producer brought the song to me, and that's how it all came about. And of course we took it to an arranger in New York who did an amazing new style of arrangement of it. And you know, it's a lot different to what Bruno does, but I gave it more of a ballad feel.
You hit on something really key about your whole career, the arranging, and throughout your life you've tackled other people's songs, and maybe you just provided some insight. In each case, did you go to like a pro arranger who helped you come up with what would be a unique take on it?
Well, arrangers are one of the most important people because they're the backbone to the song that they're going to put out. But I've worked with some great arrangers in my life, you know, and Johnny Harris is one of them. I don't know whether you know him, and Les Reed and Charlie Colello, and the lights went out.
Sujata, you get our lights back on. Hurricane Lane is beginning to approach.
No, it goes on and off all the time.
There we go. There's one
of
them.
This one here.
Well, we were planning on a nice informal. Oh, you got it on a.
There it is. No,
Oh, almost. There you go. They're energy efficient here. They're not going to miss a minute there. And so yeah, the arranging. You're saying so it was a really critical thing. And these days, like when you did the last record, was it one guy who you go to lean on for this stuff? Depending on the composition, are there different kinds of people you think could handle it better?
It depends on the song. Yeah. Who the arranger's going to be, and plus the fact that you've got your producer who's very instrumental in getting these people involved as well. Because I don't do it personally, so you get your producer to do it. And we've come up with some great arrangements, and I'm happy with the album. I really am.
I love one of your classic ones, The Police, Every Breath You Take. I was watching you do that on a festival show. It's huge outdoor crowd. And you're right, when you said that about the arranging, it's like that's really, when you cover a tune, how you do it can make a big difference. And how you slow it down, the tempo, you really nailed that. Any insight into what made you want to cover that?
Well, it was a good song.
And the shows, so you're filming, very special this weekend. Again, we're talking with Engelbert Humperdinck. He's back in Hawaii. 2 shows, Hawaii Theater, Saturday and Sunday. And they're not just shows. You're kind of following in the footsteps of a cat that, I remember when we were talking on the phone, I'm just paraphrasing, you told me it was Elvis's Aloha from Hawaii, and you said, man, I want to do a special there someday. And so dialing in on these shows, talk about your taping a thing and what that means to you, and give a little bit of a picture of what's going to be happening.
Yeah, well, the fact is I did watch Elvis' show, and I watch it I still watch it all the time, and it gave me that feeling I would love to go to that Paradise Island and record a TV show, and it's finally come to pass. And so here we're going to do it, and I hope it's going to be great, and I hope the audience are going to be there to help me make it great. And the last time I played here, audiences were fabulous, and I'm hoping for the same kind of reaction this time, all these many years later.
It really makes a difference around the world too, huh? When people don't have English as their native language, is there any difference in that energy or reaction that you're talking about?
Would you say that again?
Like because you're talking about like the feeling, the way the audience will be like supporting the tunes, getting into it, maybe singing along. When you go to countries out and English is not their native language, do you still have that same powerful connection?
You'll be surprised. It's amazing. I mean, I've been fortunate to have a global career, right. And I can go to places like Russia, and I can tell you something. The Russian people do not speak English very well, but they can sing my songs. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. When they come to my show, they sing along with me.
And you've got some greetings too. I understand that you've Engelbert, our light is going south again. I understand. I was watching another cool video, and you were Engelbert really customizes his shows when he is in a place, and I can imagine that will bring people closer to you too. What do you say to them in Russia? And I'm sure you've got an expression or two.
Well, I know how to thank them, and I know how to say good evening, ladies and gentlemen, in every language. In Russian, it's Dobro večer, dame i gospoda. So I could say that in most languages. In Germany, guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren,
I love it. That's a real person.
What about Chinese? Go away, like being Nehama.
Say that one more time.
Go away, like being Nehama.
And it comes in handy because it crosses a bridge, right? It's like people are like, wow, this guy takes the time. It's a respect thing too, huh?
And they have that little sing-song with it, yeah.
You have to kind of learn the cadence of how it's delivered.
It's easy being a singer.
Well, and not easy too. There's a lot of pressure, but you do it very easily. It's how you carry yourself. It made me think right before, I was thinking of something that I was wondering. I was looking online to see if you had crossed paths with this person. And you talk about that, the ability to be a performer, the unique nature of what you do on stage. We just lost Aretha Franklin. Was that a person? Any stories you can share? Did your paths ever cross?
I wished I could, but I never did get to meet Aretha. And all my life, I mean, I've met major big names in this industry, but I never got to meet her. It was a shame.
What made me think of her, not only, of course, her passing and what a talent she was, but I was looking, you say major names, this all-star duet release not that many years ago, too, Engelbert Calling. Elton John, or Sir Elton John rather, Johnny Mathis, Willie Nelson, Olivia Newton-John, Cliff Richard, another Sir Cliff Richard, Smokey Robinson, Kenny Rogers, Neil Sedaka, Gene Simmons, Dionne Warwick. Those are just some of the names. These are people, what? Again, is it a producer who comes to you, or do you say, man, I got to have Gene Simmons from Kiss? I mean, what makes you drive to get these people?
Well, actually, you approach these people, and when we approached Gene Simmons, he just said yes immediately. I couldn't understand it, because he's so far and different to my style of music, But he was so great in the studio. He was friendly, and he helped me in a lots of ways, made me feel comfortable. He's a major star.
Had you ever met him before?
No, I hadn't.
Wow, and all of those were done in the studio, or because of technology, sometimes people can do stuff separately. So were you together with everybody?
I did quite a few separately, but I got Elton in the studio, which was great. Oh, he's wonderful. He's magic.
And that goes back a long time.
It does, yeah. I've known Elton a long time.
And what, like 1970 approximately? When was the?
When I met him? Oh, prior to that. Before we all had names, when we used to hang out in coffee bars in the Tin Pan Alley in London, looking for work,
And that was when you were you Jerry Dorsey yet, or?
Jerry then, yeah, I was Jerry then. So that's a long time ago.
What was it that you did? I never heard, like, what's the Jerry Lewis, like when I think of, because that's how it happened, right? It was, you were Arnold George Dorsey and you became Jerry Dorsey because of your Jerry Lewis impersonation.
Yeah, in the early days, you had to do something other than sing to get work when I was first starting in the business. And so I did impressions, and there were very few people I did impressions of. One of them was Jerry Lewis, the other was Dean Martin, and I did an impression of, who else was it now? We had a guy called Frankie Vaughan in England who was wonderful, I used to do an impression of him, Sammy Davis. But that's just a few, and that's how I made a living in the early days. But now I've recorded so many songs and so many albums that, my stage act is taken up doing the songs that people hear on the disc.
No, that leads me to my final question for you, and then I'll let you go because you've been very generous and given me some time here today. When you think of the songs that you go to play on your show, is there one when you like to sing the words, maybe it makes you feel like sometimes songs are just part of your job, you've got to do them. Other songs you have a more personal attachment to, maybe there's a story behind it, or just when you sing it today in your current version of yourself, it makes you feel like, wow, my voice still just wraps around this thing so nice. Is there one that really you like?
Well, it's sometimes I sing songs that don't belong to me. Like, for instance, I've put a song, there's a song on my show I've never recorded, and it was written by one of the greatest people in show business, Paul Simon. I do Bridge Over Troubled Waters. And my rendition gets a tremendous reaction, and it amazes me, because I haven't recorded it, and it's just fresh off the bat. And it comes over great. That's one of the great songs I like to sing in the show. In my show.
As we say goodbye, is there just a line or two of something you could sing for us, just so we could have your beautiful voice on HPR doing your?
I can't hear any music.
No, I know how that goes, and that's great that's a song that shows a real connection. That you take a song that you're saying is not recorded on any record, but is one that people know, and when you break it out live, it kind of stuns them, and there's a genuine connection.
Well, it's the magic that you do yourself on stage. You put your little touch of what God gave you and make it a different story to other people's.
Right. That's what we were saying earlier. You own the song, and it's not just like hearing somebody else doing the song. It's like you make it your own version, and it becomes something that's a kind of a signature thing. Bands have done that throughout history, and I'm always impressed by that. And Engelbert Humperdinck is one of those artists. We're thrilled that he took some time for us, following up his phone call. Very good man. He said he would do it, and he did. And he's in town for 2 shows, Hawaii Theater, Saturday and Sunday night, filming a TV special that will air on public television coming up later in the year, and we'll be looking forward to that. But we'll always be grateful that you took time for us here on HPR and All Things Considered. Thank you so much, brother.
You're very welcome. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you.
You're the man.
Aloha, everyone. What a treat this is. I'm Engelbert Humperdinck, and it's a pleasure to join you. It has taken a lifetime finally to achieve the incredible milestone. I'm here with you as part of the pledge drive to support All Things Considered. You and I with my dear friend, Dave Lawrence. Aloha, Davy boy. And I'm asking you to make a pledge, whatever you can afford, to help us out here at Hawaii Public Radio. If you do, I may even sing a little something in honor of you. Thank you. Mahalo.